Greetings, Shining Bulls and Shining Bears, and welcome to the 24th episode of the Crypto Astrology Podcast. We are going to take a look at what this week holds for Bitcoin and Ether price. But first, always feel welcome to check out the Shining Bull website, where I have offerings for all suns, especially a trading signal service for day traders, a weekly forecast for both swing and day traders, which can be very valuable to you and is at an insane price considering the amount of information I'm giving on these. In my weekly forecast that you can buy on the website, I give a lot of time frames for up and down moves for the week for Bitcoin and Ether. I give price points for both, and I even give a little bit about market moving news. And then you can bundle either of those with books on my website. And I especially recommend my Bitcoin by 2026 and Ethereum by 2026 books right now, because this is likely an important time to understand what the coming years will bring for Bitcoin and Ether, and these books are valuable as they give info on the larger price cycle. If nothing's within your price range, just get notifications for this YouTube and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter too. And you can also follow me on Instagram now. Okay, now let's look at this week in Bitcoin and Ether price. And I am currently in the US, but I, as always on this podcast, am giving the predictions as per UTC time. Now, as a summary before I get into the day by day, I want to say that there can be a nice up move on Tuesday related to the new US House Speaker. But this week, it's important to note that this is the last week the market has to correct downward before the full moon on Saturday, which I see initiating a new period of significant wealth creation for Bitcoin and Ether. I see the prime time for a drop starting either Wednesday or Thursday, and even on Friday there is a potential for a serious drop in the second half of the day. But now I'm going to give you the day-by-day predictions so you can get a better idea of what I mean. So, Sunday UTC. In the very early morning on Sunday UTC, I see that prices will rise with green candles becoming apparent as the moon enters into the Aquarius Pada Uttarashada Nakshatra. However, a few hours later, also well before sunrise, I see a high amount of volatility enter into the charts due to extreme acts taken by political leaders when the moon reaches exact Kendra to the sun. Later in the early afternoon, unsettling geopolitical news can initiate a serious drop when the moon enters into Shravana. Then, around 4 p.m., a new consensus will likely start creating green candles when Mercury reaches exact trine to Vakri Saturn, retrograde Saturn. A few hours later in the evening, I see an up move happening, especially related to a feeling of certainty that people will have regarding spot ETFs as the moon reaches Mars's exact fourth drishti. Monday UTC. Early morning Monday UTC, optimism related to spot ETFs will cause a further climb when Mars enters the Aquarius Pada of Swati. Very shortly before noon, I see a drop when moon enters into Dhanishta Nakshatra. Then, Monday late night, I see another drop when moon enters Aquarius and starts trining Ketu. Tuesday UTC. Tuesday early morning, well before sunrise UTC, I see a drop or a downward consolidation due to something being deliberated when the moon begins transiting Vakri Saturn. I see a drop happening just before 7 a.m. UTC on Tuesday when Venus enters the Libra Pada of Purva Falguni. Just before 10 a.m. UTC, I see a powerful upward movement when moon reaches an exact trine to the sun. Around 3 p.m., crypto-related legislation will have a positive impact on the markets when moon reaches an exact trine to Mercury. A stronger upward movement starts Tuesday night when moon enters into a relationship with Mars. Wednesday UTC. Wednesday early morning UTC, market uncertainty comes into effect when the moon enters into opposition to Venus. But around breakfast time, I see a climb begin when moon enters Purva Bhadrapada. I see another session of green candles start a little later Wednesday morning UTC when the moon reaches exact opposition to Venus. Thursday UTC. Thursday, generally the whole day UTC, I see us dropping due to moon's Navamsha transit. Now that Venus is with Ketu in the Libra pada, in the Navamsha, there are a lot more uncertain feelings. And when moon comes into relation with Venus and Ketu in the Navamsha or in the sky, it can make people feel insecure about the market. Friday, UTC. I see an up move Friday, very early morning UTC. Again, remember in my weekly forecast that you can buy on the website, I give exact timings as well as in the trading signals. Anyway, Friday, early morning UTC. When the moon reaches Mars's cuspal degree, with Mars being 8th from the moon, I see an up move. I see that in the mid-morning Friday UTC, something important, possibly related to ETFs and grayscale, is being deliberated when Mercury enters into opposition to Vakri Jupiter, though I am not sure how immediate its impact on the market will be. In the afternoon, I see a negative event when the moon enters the Aquarius pada of Revati, joining Mercury and Mars in the Navamsha, that can cause a downswing in prices. Saturday UTC. Early morning, a market climb will begin when moon enters Aries. By late evening, an important upward climb starts when the full moon eclipse becomes exact. This is when an upward movement will initiate that can bring in a lot of wealth over the coming months. So, that was the weekly forecast for the week ahead in Bitcoin and Ether price. For intraday traders, again, my signal service is best, and my weekly forecast is also key for day traders and swing traders. You can buy it on the website. It's very cheap and can make you a lot of money. Meanwhile, my books give the larger market context, which is also important for day traders to understand and any investor. And now, as I mentioned, is a good time to get my Bitcoin by 2026 and my Ethereum by 2026 books if you don't already have them. And I also have 2 new books on Ethereum layer 2s and on countries that will be important in the future for Bitcoin and Bitcoin holders. Now, let's talk about some news items from the past week. Again, although I am currently in the US at this filming, I am referencing UTC time as opposed to my time zone here. Now, on Monday, October 16th, Cointelegraph tweeted that the US Securities and Exchanges Commission, or the SEC, had approved a spot Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock. As a consequence, Bitcoin's price went from $27,900 to $30,000 USDT in just an instant. However, the information was incorrect, and the tweet was deleted within 30 minutes. A lot of people were angry because the sudden price surge caused a lot of shorts to be instantly liquidated, all because of what was soon understood to be a false rumor and bad reporting by Cointelegraph specifically, who had broken the fake news item. But this tweet came out, I want to tell you as an astrologer, what I see is that this tweet came out as Jupiter was opposing the moon. So this means that it was real knowledge that was being revealed. And when moon reaches Jupiter at the end of this month, actually at the end of this week on Saturday, the knowledge of a spot ETF approval will become more understood to be fact. On the full moon of Saturday, October 28th, the moon will transit in Aries with Jupiter opposing a closely conjunct Mercury and Mars in Libra along with the Sun. Libra is the sign of the marketplace, and Mars is trine to Saturn while in Swati Nakshatra in the heart of Libra is what has been creating significant progress in us getting spot ETFs for Bitcoin. According to my 2023 predictions books, something significant is set to happen at the end of this month. As mentioned in my 2023 predictions books, I see that Bitcoin's price will start climbing and Ethereum will rebound upward along with the rest of the market too, which is nice. And I see that this is going to be related to spot ETF approval. And in fact, if you have this week's weekly forecast, I mentioned this because I saw something very interesting. But I'm just going to tell you generally that when we retested downward, I believe from that first 30,000 ascent this past week, we were retesting an important resistance level set, or an important support level, I suppose, set in August, the very day when Grayscale won its lawsuit against the SEC. That was obviously a very important, I believe that was a Venus defended level, but nonetheless, I noticed that because it coincided with a very important astrological transit, which is why Grayscale won the lawsuit, and that is the support level that was tested and that we bounced off of when we came down from 30,000 this past week due to the fake news. So what I'm seeing here is that, as I've been mentioning a lot, I'm really seeing something surprising for the Grayscale ETF particularly. And I definitely see that at the end of this week, something new happens that looks really good for spot ETF approval. And again, I'm really seeing that something is going to come up, particularly regarding Grayscale, even though a lot of the news and the commotion has been about BlackRock. That's what I see as an astrologer. So I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.